Welcome to Barn 4 Sports. I'm your host, Mike Tiller. It's been a while since we've been on. We had a lot going on, but our first guest here, our first show back, is Joe Muschong. Joe graduated from Lafayette High School and made his way to Morehead State, where he had a 5-year career there and ended it this past season with the conference title, individual. He won that back in April.
Yeah, late April.
Back in April. But Joe joined us today. I've known Joe a long time, and he's accomplished a lot in his career at Morehead State. And this summer, you've had a great summer. You just coming off a championship with the Lexington Men's City, which you won by several shots. I think you ended up with a 62 out at Kearney Hills. And then I think you won the Winchester Invitational. Is that what that's called?
Yeah, their little hometown tournament. That was Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
Winchester Memorial.
Yeah. But you came out of Lexington. How many schools recruited you?
There were a few. UK a little bit, not much though. EKU a little bit, but really the main recruiters were Morehead and Transy.
Yeah. Yeah. Now the coach at Morehead State, how long's he been there?
Matthew Martin, he's been there now for, I want to say 7. He's going into his 7th year, probably 7th or 8th.
Yeah. Is he a pretty good coach to play for?
Oh yeah, he's solid. He's a young guy, so that's what you want playing college golf with somebody you can relate to.
Yeah. Did he play at Morehead State or not?
No, he played at Transy his college career.
Oh,
and
okay.
Then he actually coached basketball when he got out of college for a year. Then he started getting in golf coaching. He was Transy's assistant, and then he took over at Morehead. And he's done well there since.
Yeah. Now, did they have y'all living in the dorm for all 4 years, or did you ever get to have your own apartment, or what? How'd that work out?
We lived in the dorm for 4 years, and then when I took my extra year, COVID or whatever you want to call it, extra season eligibility, we all moved into a house off campus. There's 3 of us.
Yeah.
3 of us, and it was a good setup.
Yeah. So you win these tournaments this summer. You played in the Kentucky Open out at Persimmon Ridge. I believe you did make the cut out there.
Mm-hmm.
How'd that tournament set up for you?
It was all right. I didn't necessarily play the greatest. I had a few too many penalty strokes off the tee. It's a little tighter, which doesn't really fit my game, but just didn't have my best stuff, but put it together okay, I guess.
Yeah. Now, was that tournament on a rain delay most of the 3 days?
Yeah, so we started Tuesday morning. We were early in Tuesday morning, late Wednesday afternoon, and it poured Tuesday morning. We never heard the horn to suspend play. It was raining so hard. So
yeah,
we kind of got unlucky with the tee time draw, but I mean, that's not the first time it's happened, and it won't be the last.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I know they do a good job with that tournament and have for several years. But let's back up a little bit. What age were you when you thought that maybe golf was going to be at least your go-to sport in high school?
Man, go-to sport probably wasn't until my freshman year of high school. Just played almost everything growing up, and baseball, and I got wore out playing that stuff because I couldn't stand, if you could have a great game in the field and go 2 for 4 with 2 great at-bats, and your team could lose 10-2.
Yeah.
So I kind of quit playing baseball freshman year of high school and played golf, and I just, fell in love with it. But at the end of the day, you look yourself in the mirror, whether you shoot 65 or 85, and you're the one to blame. So that's kind of when I picked it up.
Now, did you start lessons? What age did you start lessons?
I took some, I did some junior clinics when I was a kid, real young, but when I started taking it serious was probably the winter of my freshman year of high school.
Yeah. Now, did they produce any big-time players in your 4 years there?
We had Will Salee, who is now the assistant women's golf coach at Kentucky, the Lane brothers, who they had good high school careers, and they went on to play in college as well, and we were all just different ages, so we never got to match up and be at our peaks all together like some of the other Louisville private schools.
And then you went on to Morehead. Did you redshirt your freshman year at Morehead, or did you jump right in?
I jumped right in. I actually played every event I was eligible for 5 years other than one. I sat out before conference my what was my senior year. I sat out like 2 weeks before to get a little rest. So
Yeah.
other than that, played everything.
Yeah. So just enlighten me a little bit on your 4 years or 5 years at Morehead State. Now, when you practice, now is that on a range and the coach is watching you? I know you always have practice rounds when you go on the road. You have probably a day of a practice round, but when somebody mentions a golf coach, are they actually working with your swing, or would that be another individual? Or they tell you, hey, you know, Joe, you need to hit balls today for 2 hours. You need to putt for 2 hours, or exactly what's the responsibility of your coach?
It's kind of some are some way, some are different ways. Coach Martin at Morehead he was more of like a kind of an administrative assistant. He was just kind of keeping up with what you were doing. He understood that most of us had swing coaches back home, so he never really wanted to get in the way of that. He just wanted to make sure that we were checking the right boxes leading up to a tournament, spending our time wisely, staying out of trouble, and staying healthy and stuff like that.
Yeah, and then you go on and took the extra year at Morehead because of the COVID year. Do you regret taking that extra year, or do you think that's going to be beneficial in the long run?
No, I definitely don't regret it. I thought I was going to regret it maybe the first month of it, but it was definitely what I needed for my game and everything else. So I think it's going to be that could be a really key year that I needed.
Yeah, and I know professional golfer Josh Teeter went to Morehead State. When was the last Morehead State Eagle to win the conference tournament as an individual?
I think my buddy Sean Tipton won it in maybe the early 2000s or something when he was there, but he was playing against Scott Stallings, who's tearing it up on the tour right now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. That was quite an accomplishment that you had there. And then you, of course, you graduated, and you've had a great summer. Where do you go from here?
Playing next week in Greenville, North Carolina, on a little tune-up event, and then I'll start Q school here at the end of August in Dallas, Texas, and hopefully run the table on that. And that'll go all the way through November, I think.
So the Q school, if you can tell me a little bit about that, and you said it was in Dallas.
Yeah.
Has it always been in Dallas?
No, well, the way it works now is so you start with pre-qualifying stage, which is 54 holes, and there's, I don't know, probably 5 or 6 sites full of guys, like 90 players each. Then if they take, I think, like top 30ish or something, move on. Then you go to first stage, which first stage is where there's the bulk of the players. There's probably 15 different sites, and that's a full 72-hole tournament. You got to get through there again, certain top 20, top 25. Then you go to second stage, which is, I think there's 5 sites of those. And then if you get through second stage, you go to finals. Once you get to finals, you're guaranteed conditional Korn Ferry status. But finals is basically playing for how many starts you get the next year on the Korn Ferry.
And that will be at how many courses in Dallas?
1 in Dallas, and then they're all depending. You get assigned sites based on your registration. So I'll stick with 1 in Dallas, and then go to the next one, hopefully in first stage, same one golf course. Then second stage, same thing, 1 golf course. Then finals, they use 2 golf courses, kind of like they'll do it on tour.
Yeah, that's cool. Have you played any of the courses?
I've not.
No.
I've not.
So I guess the longer you're in Dallas, the better chance you'll have to get your card or to be on the Korn Ferry.
Well, I guess. Well, no, they're all staggered. So pre-qualifying is end of August.
Okay.
Then first stage is all like middle of September.
Okay, I got you.
Then second stage is late September.
All right, so you're looking to get through stages.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Is any stages you said in October?
Yeah.
Okay. So
yeah.
So if you're not at Keeneland, that's a good.
Yeah, it's probably a good thing.
That's probably a good thing
for my golf game and my wallet, probably.
Yeah. Because I know you're pretty sharp on the horses. We've talked many years about the horses, and you worked at out here at the Barbasol course, that Champion Strafe, for since you were in high school. And I have to tell you, man, you were and I'm not just saying this, you were just a really solid cart guy out there. Some of them are okay, but I mean, you weren't too much. You just you knew what was going on, and I just always appreciated pulling up and you grabbing the bag and knowing what to say, and after the round knowing not what to say when you come in. But I know that was good for you, working out there and being able to use those facilities while you were in high school and college, right?
Yeah, that was big, and also that kind of job teaches you how to talk to people. And that's kind of a lost art this day. And, I mean, now I can go cut up with anyone. Almost,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
yeah. You were good. I know all those guys out there, and I was a member out there for years, but a lot of comments throughout the years about you, how you handled yourself, and you were just always really, really good at doing that. And then, I think the first tournament out there, the Barbasol, or was it the second? You had the opportunity to caddy for James Hahn.
Yeah, that's the second, or maybe it was in 2021. So last year.
Yeah.
2021 summer.
Yeah. Tell us how that came about, and tell us about that experience.
So he calls the shop on like Saturday before the event and says, "Hey, my caddies can't get through COVID protocol in time coming out of Canada. You guys have any local guys?" So they linked me up with them, carried his bag Monday for 9 holes, and then he just said, "Hey, if you want the job for the week, it's yours." So we did the whole thing, Tuesday practice round, Wednesday pro-am. And he was coming in a stretch where he was in a little bit of a slump. He had been injured a little bit, but I mean, he's a good player. He's won on tour twice. He's a journeyman tour pro. He's made $13, $14 million in his career. He can play.
Yep.
So Thursday, I think he goes out and we get rain delayed to all hell. And I think we walked off 9 green that night at, I want to say dark. And he shot 3 under, good round. And then we went out Friday, and I think he shot 2 under. And we were kind of on the cut line at 18 at Champions, and he hadn't made a cut in, I think, 7 weeks or 7 events or something.
Yeah.
And he kind of pushes one a little right. And it's, water's right there. That's the only place you don't want to hit it. And it stays up by a foot. He makes par, makes the cut, sitting at 5 under. And then it was all a whirlwind from there. I mean, comes out. We went out early Saturday morning, and the first 3 holes were mediocre, a little ugly, just kind of scrapping it around. I was like, dang, this kind of sucks. We're going to be 20 back going into tomorrow. And then he birdied 4, eagled 5, parred 6, then he birdied 7, 8, 9, and 10. All of a sudden, we're sitting 7 under through 10, and he makes about a 30-footer on 10. He had been calling me in for reads a little bit. And we were working pretty good together, and on 10, he just buries his 30-footer. Never asked for a read, and I was like, all right, cool. I'm not going to say a word the rest of the way.
Yeah.
So then get down to like 15, I think. He chips in for eagle, sees the scoreboard, and he's like, they must have my score wrong. I was like, no, you're 11 under through 15. So now all of a sudden we're like leading the golf tournament. The 59 watch is on. The camera crews had been sent out to catch us because we were so early in the morning. There were no cameras with us.
Yeah, and I can remember when the 59 watch was on, how it was spreading around, not only on the course, but throughout Lexington on text with guys keeping up with the tournament. I received a text and said, hey, Muschong's guy, he might shoot 59.
Well, it's funny. We're standing on 16T, which is there's a bunch of members sitting there, and they're all like yelling my name. And I'm like, I'm not the one doing it.
Yeah.
But, he steps up on 16, hits a great golf shot to 25 feet on that hole, that's a tough little par 3.
Yeah.
Birdie 17, and about the same time that we were on 18T is when Josh Teeter's group was playing down 8. So kind of everyone in the golf course was in that little pond corridor.
Uh-huh.
So anyways, we play up. I think he had like a 35-footer to shoot 59. And the guy playing in our group, Richard Johnson, was like, hey, I'll go ahead and just get out of the way. He buries like a 45-footer right in front of us. And we're like, oh, crap.
Yeah.
But 2 putts, course record 60, and we're like, he didn't know that he was 11 under through 15. Yeah. He knew he shot 60, obviously, when it was done. But it was funny. When he came out of scoring Saturday afternoon, they had assigned him a personal security person with the PGA Tour for the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was funny, man. That was really cool. And then Sunday comes around, and JT Poston hits one OB on 15, bogey 16. So we're standing in 17 fairway, and someone had yelled that we were sitting in the lead now.
Yeah.
In hindsight, we wish we would have known it, but I think we steered it coming in a little bit, but still finished like I think tied third, tied fourth, or something.
Yeah. James, during that week experience with him, I'm sure he's pretty cool dude. Treated you awfully well, it seems like. Uh, or during that experience, are there any thoughts, if you can't make it on any tour, of getting on the caddy part outside of it, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoy caddying if I'm not playing. Obviously, I've done it for a lot of kids that play in the big tournaments. I caddied again last year. I've got a bunch of buddies, but it's really fun because most people think it's not like you're not really, you don't really care, like it's just your guy. But
Yeah, yeah.
push comes to shove, and all of a sudden you're pretty tied up in it.
Oh, absolutely, and especially in a PGA event like that you were involved in with James, and and James, he's a good. All those guys out there can hit it, and he's made a lot of money on tour. He struggled just like an average golfer struggles at times with their game, but then they get it going at certain times. I actually thought about him a couple weeks ago, thinking he might be a guy that might join the Live Tour. I don't know if that's out of question or not.
He's been on Twitter recently, kind of he's playing devil's advocate for stuff, and he's been. I don't think he'll go to the Live Tour, but he's been asking the hard questions on Twitter, and people have been tearing him up, and he's basically just looking to educate people. And,
yeah, I've read some of his stuff too, and I agree. He's kind of playing both sides, and I don't know if he's missed with his. I don't know, how old is James? Is he 42, maybe
late 30s, early 40s?
Yeah, yeah, and it seems like the guys that are joining that tour are, they're on the backside of their best golf, and they're taking the money, which I can't blame them for doing it. I don't know how that tour is going to work out, or I don't get into all that. A lot of those guys are taking care of their family, and you can't blame them. But just last week, Bubba Watson, that was a guy that was no surprise that he was headed over there to that tour.
How can you blame them either? But the whole thing that people sounds like pissed off with is that they won't admit that they're doing it for the money, but I think their hands are tied and they can't just get in front of a microphone and say, "Hey, Pat Perez did say, he's like, hey, I'm doing it for the money."
Absolutely, yeah, yeah, and after Phil, loses 40 million, the last 3 or 4 years in gambling, I've said it before, it wasn't his decision. It was his wife's decision to send him over there.
There's that book came out about him, and I think he was pushing broke, and now he's lost all his sponsors, and he's just a wild story to think about.
Yeah. Phil's been involved in a lot of different things, and I've always been a pretty decent fan of Phil's. I just he's represented the PGA Tour really good in his career. I know he was involved with I think it was Billy Walker, the gambler, the Sharpie out of Las Vegas.
Insider trading in there too.
There was a lot of different things with
weird.
Phil. But I think that Live Tour has helped a lot of those players anyways, but we'll see where that goes. But so you're off to Q school. You've had a great summer. I know you're a type of kid who's working hard on its game, and you'll continue to work hard on it. And hopefully in Dallas, some good things will happen. Now, will they assign you a caddy? Will you bring your caddy down with you, or who's going to be on the bag?
For Dallas pre-qualifying, I'll probably just carry my own bag. It's only 54 holes. So get to first stage, 72 holes. I'll probably have to search someone out and figure something out. So.
Yeah, and you're mainly you've turned professional, right? Yeah. And before I forget, anybody can message me. I guess you're actively pursuing some sponsorship money.
Absolutely. That's the big thing too. I always tell people, like, if you're a good college baseball player, you turn pro, you get drafted, you sign a deal. Granted, it's a rookie deal, but you get a signing bonus.
Yeah.
So you've got money to travel these places. When you turn pro coming out of college golf, you got nothing.
Yeah.
And I don't think people realize that. That's the whole deal. Now it's come full circle with tour guys talking about expenses, and it's expensive to chase it, but you just got to have the mindset for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of people don't realize with these tour guys, that they're paying for their travel and all their expenses during the week. Major League Baseball players, they get breakfast, lunch, dinner money, every game, and that's not the case for the tour guys.
No, I mean they got to pay their caddies too, which caddy expense can be huge, especially if you're, look, if you're Ted Scott and you're caddying for Scotty Scheffler, you've made probably $250,000 already this year, if not more.
Yeah, absolutely. So if anybody out there be interested in throwing some cash Joe's way that'll help him pursue his dreams, we'd certainly appreciate it. Again, you can just DM me whenever, and I'll get back with Joe. Joe's on Twitter also, but if we can get a good sum of money for Joe to put together and lessen some of his stress, he doesn't have to worry about it, and he can concentrate on his game, we'd certainly appreciate it. So hopefully a few people out there will help you out some.
Yeah, that'd be great. Anything's appreciated.
Yeah, and you're, Joe, you're so well rounded in sports in general. I mean, I know you're a Bengals fan. I follow you on Twitter some, and it's just not golf, I mean, you're well rounded in football and baseball and some of the UK sports.
Pretty much anything, but I don't keep up with the NBA as much. But NFL, I love hockey. I think people. The common sports fan doesn't realize how good hockey is.
Oh, I agree. We've talked about that plenty of times. Come playoff hockey, when it starts that first 3 weeks, there's usually 3 games a night, and starting at 7, and the last one comes on at 10:30, and that's one of my favorite times of year.
You can't beat it. The thing I like when I first started watching hockey, my roommate for I guess 4 years, he's from Toronto, so he played a lot of OHL hockey. He's a player. He's in one of the feeder leagues.
Yeah.
So I started watching with him, and what I couldn't get over was it doesn't matter if it's game 3 of the regular season, game 33, or game 7 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. They're 100 miles an hour, full ready. There's no load management like
absolutely.
the NBA or sitting out because their toe hurts.
No, it's the best value going in sports by far, I think. And these guys, what they do, and people don't understand, they play in shifts of about 2 minutes, and then 4 new guys come on the ice, and it's not like you run a play and it's a huddle, man. There's some bad dudes out there, and I really enjoy the hockey too. And you follow a little bit of NASCAR too, don't you?
Yeah, a little bit. I keep up with it. They've totally kind of redid how they've run their stuff too in the last few years, which is pretty cool with stages and stuff like that.
It's they've kind of turned the corner on some things. I agree. A lot of people didn't like the stages at first, but I think that was pretty cool. And then they're putting in a lot of road races throughout the year. But you're real well rounded with sports, and it's always good to see you, man. And I just I wish you the best, and congratulations on a great summer with some of your championships that you've won. And you may not ever win well, I don't know if you can play in the Lexington City now as a pro, can you?
No, I'll have to wait until I
retire.
If I ever have to reinstate for amateur status, maybe come back.
But that's really cool to win any championships, because you never know when you'll have the opportunity to do it again. But the best of luck to you. Keep working hard. We're proud of you here at Barn 4 Sports, and hopefully we can get a couple of sponsors for you.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
All right, brother. Thanks, man. We'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us on Barn 4 Sports. You can follow us on Twitter at @TheBarn4Sports, and we will see you next time. Thank you.